Deconstruction.
What's up, everybody? It's the Hard Deconstruction. You can find us at hardyconstruction.tumblr.com, youtube.com/hardyconstruction, as well as facebook.com/thehardyconstruction with your host Comp and
automatic level control.
And today we're looking at the 2014, well, the rest of it, and 2015 slate of horror films. 18 of the highly anticipated horror films off of thoughtcatalog.com. That's a website I never heard of. And just a couple that are coming up at the end of the 2014, because we do only have 2 months left, and we're in the middle of the first one, almost halfway through. And how are you feeling so far about the 2014 season of horror?
Well, you know, it's pretty typical of the past 14 years of horror.
Yeah,
you know, one out of every 5 is good.
I can't say that I remember anything that came out in 2014 of horror. I might be wrong, because I'm sure maybe we did review it. ABCs of Death I know we reviewed, but that was lukewarm, to me at least.
I thought it was good. I mean, there's stuff around, like Sinister and Conjuring.
All right,
okay.
There was Insidious. Insidious 2 came out, or was that last year?
I think it was last year, but I didn't even see that one. I heard it was terrible.
I mixed up so many Insidious, Sinister, and what was that other
Conjuring.
one?
Yeah, well, it's all like the same plot, basically.
Yeah, it's the same companies, basically. And actually, 2 of them are not from the same company, but they seem like they're all from the same company. It kind of seems like James Wan.
Although I felt like Conjuring was actually, or not what's the one with the Jewish demon? It was like a box that had a Jewish.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, the possession.
Yeah,
like
that's another one that's like that sort of thing. But that movie was actually good.
Yeah, I thought that was a decent film. I thought they did pretty well for like having the father
from the comedian from The Watchmen.
Yeah. That's what he should have done at the end. Just turn into the comedian. He
right. That was his origin story.
He was like sexually assaulting women after that movie.
Mm-hmm.
He had his kid all fine, and then he turned into a superhero. All right, so these 18 horror films. Let's start out the list. You can find it at thoughtcatalog.com, and there's a giant like URL after it. So just look it up on 18 highly anticipated horror movies for 2014 and 2015.
Yeah.
Written by Rob Fee. And I wonder if they paid him for this.
Probably.
So the first film up is a movie that I actually did a mini review for it, and I don't want to bother talking about it again. It's called The Town That Dreaded Sundown. And what's it about is 65 years after Moonlight Murders, it looks as though another killer has returned to the same small town, murdering victims in a similar fashion. This comes from Gomez Rejon, who has directed numerous episodes of American Horror Story, so there's a good chance he'll bring his stylization to the classic tale.
And did he?
And I can tell you from first-hand account he did not, because it's a pile of shit. It's garbage.
He didn't seem to like it.
It was a really bad movie, and just to make a small version of my other small review, is that the original film was a 70s film that was... It was like an indie feature based on actual murders that kind of looked like the southern version of the Zodiac Killer.
Right.
A guy who never got caught, and it was... I guess it must have been a weird film to not have... resolution to it, just like Zodiac. But Zodiac had good film for no resolution to it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And this guy used to wear like a white pillow sack over his face, and he would shoot people. That was how his modus operandi. It basically was just like the Zodiac. He would actually find people in like make out sections of places and stuff like that and shoot them.
Right.
Until the guys take their pants off and stuff like that. I don't know why. And then he'd shoot them, and then anyway, so the one that just came out in 2014 was a remake. And the one in the 70s was decent, but it didn't know how to handle itself tone-wise. It would be like have funny kind of 70s music to it and try to be comedic in some parts.
Did they have sexy nipples and chest hair? Like
not at all. It was totally PG rated except for the violence.
Oh, okay.
Something I didn't bring up in the review in the 70s movie. There was a movie that I saw, a Spanish movie called El Día de los Albinales 3, and it's like a comedy thing. It's like a Spanish comedy of like all these construction workers, and it's like a funny movie because it's like just people falling in concrete and shit like that, just dumb slapstick. And then there's like a subplot that comes out of nowhere about a killer, and then he kills like the homosexual character and slashes his throat on screen, and then the rest of the guys band up to find him. And I was like, whoa, this movie went somewhere different. Like at the end of this fucking movie, I was like, holy shit. Anyway, but yeah, so the film was kind of like that kind of level of like, what the fuck's going on? But the remake was very much so in the Scream vein, where it was like a slasher film, and it had some decent kills. but it just wasn't a good movie at all. It was just really bad, and it would flash back to sequences from the old 70s film to be like, oh, look, we're showing homage to the original film, ho ho, but it was a bad movie.
And
so
now you know
that's
not
it.
to
I
see
wouldn't
it.
recommend seeing it, and it was a real letdown because the director did some really great episodes from American Horror Story, like the one that I keep forgetting about, that girl whose diary we all read,
And
even though
Frank.
she's dead. There you go. All right, so VHS Viral, which is the third film in the series. It's directed by various directors. What's it about? This is the third installment in the VHS anthology style of films, but most of the familiar names that worked on the first two are nowhere to be found on this one. That's a bit unsettling.
I actually
this one has
didn't
more
watch the trailer in this one because we're gonna review it soon anyway. So I just figured, like, let me just
yeah,
be
we're
surprised.
we're gonna do it next week, hopefully. And well, this one, the trailer showed. Let me play it while I'm talking to you. It kind of just showed. It was basically saying, "Oh, look how great the first two movies are.
Oh.
Now look how good this one is." And although I would say that very lightly that they were good. The only good one was in the second one was
the cult one.
The Indonesian one with the cult.
There were a couple okay ones. The first one
in
had
part
some,
two.
No, in both of them. But like overall, I hated the frame story so much in the first one.
Yeah, the Frames one had the bros running around and being dicks and sharking girls and stuff like that.
But there was like decent shit in there. Like it was okay.
Yeah, no, the first one had some memorable stuff like the haunted house and the girl who was like a succubus monster or something like that.
Yeah, that one was great.
The second one had the zombie POV. It had we're trying to remember that one with the eyeball thing going on. The girl with the eyeball
thing.
And then I forgot what the other one was.
Yeah, I don't
but yeah, the second one wasn't good to me. It was okay. It wasn't as good as the first one, but apparently from the reviews that I've heard, this one's really bad. Like it's terrible because the other two had like 4 stories within each of them.
Yeah,
and this one just has 3, and people are like, "Why is there only 3 stories in this?" And I think, from what I know, is that it's really poorly done, and it's just not even trying. And
I don't understand.
There's
they
one
have
that has
like popularity, budget. What are they doing?
I don't know, and it's like magician. There's a magician fight in it, and you can kind of barely see what's going on.
I could watch Harry Potter if I want to see that.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, I think it's since it's all POV and it's like found footage, they kind of put themselves in a situation which is hard. Although they made it work with the cult one because there's a reason why all the cameras are around, which is pretty cool. They found a way to make it almost third person, so that was fine. But I'm hearing this one's bad, but I guess we'll find out next week, right?
Yeah.
So that's VHS Viral. That's supposed to come out October 23rd, which is already in the past. So it's out. So go see it if you want to. Okay,
I
next on the list
I know you said not to watch Ouija, but I actually did, and it looks really stupid.
You saw the film or the trailer?
The trailer.
Okay, Ouija just came out last week.
I don't want to review this if you wouldn't mind.
No, I don't want to either. It seems kind of boring. What happened in the trailer? I'm sure I've seen the trailer
literally
before.
like the most cliche thing possible. It's the idea of people getting Ouija
what do you mean,
board
kids in trouble? I never heard about
ghosts.
I never heard of a haunted
and,
house.
Like it goes wrong somehow. Like I've seen that like 800 times.
A director Styles.
There's nothing wrong
White.
with Ouija board. Like it could be a cool plot device, but like for some reason I just don't get the vibe that this is going to make good use of it.
I like it's directed by a guy named Styles White. So, and from what I can see, there's no African American character, so maybe he was trying to keep it a white styled film. Yeah. Although I think the main actors are Hispanic, because I saw them in some, like, I was just randomly changing the channel.
Well, that's also part of the reason why I would never want to see this movie.
But I think they look white. I think that's what, it might fool you, and you might, like, wash your eyes.
But you know what, that's kind of like when a really ugly girl wears, like, makeup and she looks pretty now.
Jesus Christ. But yeah, the girls are pretty cute, but then I saw them speaking like fluent Spanish, and I was like, oh, those must be
I feel like
the white Spanish.
If I ever like meet the girl of my dreams, I'm gonna have to not even tell her that I like have this review, because if she like ever like hears the things I say, like I'm like fuck.
Oh my god, you might just go into her house one day and find a huge swastika flag in her bedroom and not give a shit.
That's true.
All right.
I'll be like, okay, you have baggage too. Okay, we're equal now.
But the Ouija film, it says, what's it about? A bunch of people keep playing with a Ouija board even though it's obvious they should just stop. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, guy tries to be funny. Anyway, yeah, so the film has some stuff with a girl. I don't know, it just looks pretty, you know what I mean. You summed it up pretty well. The part with the girl and her eyeballs rolling into her head, it's like completely really badly CGI'd.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I doubt it's good.
All right. Here's Exists, a trailer that, I mean, actually, I think I just saw a review for it, like, and I heard it was one of the worst movies ever made. Like, they gave it like a negative star, like a negative 0 star.
The writer of this article makes it seem like it might be kind of cool.
Well, I guess he hasn't seen it. What's it about? The story of a group of friends going into the woods only to be hunted by some sort of creature who may not sound enticing, but Sanchez has a unique style and perspective. It'll definitely be worth checking out. Plus, if you haven't been waiting for a movie about Bigfoot, when he's an aggressive monster. The director of this is one of the two directors who created the Blair Witch Project, the guys who kind of made the resurgence of POV filmmaking,
right.
And then it kind of went away again. Because the real first, like, well, I really can't say the first POV film found footage film would actually have been like Cannibal Holocaust.
Right.
But I'm sure there was found footage before that one. But Cannibal Holocaust is kind of like one of the big.
That's
big
a movie where you have to take like motion sickness pills before watching.
Oh yeah. Blair Witch, right?
Yeah.
I saw that in the theaters when I was younger, and I was like, it actually generally freaked me out.
I watched it too, and I actually remember getting nauseous from getting dizzy watching it. Like,
yeah, I don't get affected by that kind of stuff, but I was affected by certain things, like when there were sequences when you hear the little children crying in the woods and stuff like that.
Did you ever see the second one?
Oh God, no! I saw parts of it, and I was like, "This is terrible."
It's awful. It's awful. I mean, I only saw it one time, like right when it first came out, because I had seen the first one in theaters too, and like, it was bad.
It was really bad. Yeah, because I remember seeing. What did I see about it? I saw. I know they had a goth girl in it, and I saw the trailer. And all I know is at the end is that the kids were thinking that they were fine, and then they were actual murdering people or something like that. Like they were.
I don't even remember the plot. I remember the goth girl. Like that's about it.
I just remember that the second film was directed by a guy who usually did documentaries, and I guess that was his first time doing straight narrative film.
Right.
And I guess it didn't work out for him because it killed the franchise. It was the second film, and I think what fucked it up is that I don't know why they didn't just do found footage stuff again. They were trying to bring this like that was a time when the internet was pretty big back then, but it wasn't as big where people didn't know that it was total bullshit. Like people actually seriously believed that these three actors were real kids that disappeared. Josh, Mike, I forget the name of the kid. I remember one was Josh because they kept yelling Josh throughout the fucking
Is that the
movie.
one that lost the map?
No, well, the fat guy that threw. I think his name was Mike or something. I think it was the fat. Oh no, it could have been Josh. Either one of those three people. They never acted again for some reason. Like you never see them in anything else. And I was like, wow, you guys are pretty seminal in your films. You know what I mean? Or they were pretty much in a seminal film, and they kind of just vanished off the face of the earth. Those three actors.
Maybe that was part of the agreement that they have to pretend like they actually were kidnapped by the witch.
Yeah, and I think the directors, like, I think they did. They had to, like, sign stuff saying, like, they wouldn't talk to interviewers and stuff like that. It's kind of kooky.
Right.
But anyway, the second film, I remember, I don't know how we got into this, but Blair Witch 2, they tried to set it up like the events in part 2 actually happened as well, and this was a dramatization of it. So I think they fucked up by not just making it it could have been the first Paranormal Activity if it just kept going on, you know?
You're right.
Because Blair Witch is the grandfather of Poltergeist. I mean,
and look at all the wonderful things it spawned.
Oh yeah, 4 Paranormal Activities that actually got destroyed when they decided to put Hispanics in it.
Now so there's a fucking like a 5th one that on this list too.
All right, so the next trailer up is Extraterrestrial, which actually I thought was a pretty interesting trailer until the very final shot, and I thought, oh boy, they just made this trailer ridiculous at the very end of it.
I didn't watch that one actually.
I think you might like it. It's just looking at the information, I'm already going because the directors are called the Vicious Brothers. Oh boy. What it's about. After knocking it out of the park with Grave Encounters, already I'm not interested, and its sequel, the Vicious Brothers are now tackling the story of an alien encounter. I got to see this. Anyway, so it's basically people getting taken away by aliens, and it has it looks like a kind of a science special effects reel, like, you know, when people have special effects reel and they kind of jam it into every section of the film, and people, there's people getting stuck inside. You know how the Matrix, when Keanu Reeves' character Neo wakes up and he's like stuck
in that
in the
pod area,
Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff in this trailer that looks like that, and I know you're scared of aliens, or you dig alien kind of horror films.
They're
So
I mean they're creepy.
like this.
They're creepy.
And they have Michael Ironside in it, so you know Michael Ironside.
That's
is,
the
right?
guy from he's in Total Recall, right? Like the bad guy.
Yeah, the one with his. I see you with the party, Richter, and his arms get torn off.
Right.
And Arnold throws his arms off at him. There's this metal band called oh fuck, I don't know what it's called, but it's basically a band that parodies every Arnold Schwarzenegger film that's out there. Austrian Death Machine, that's what it's called. What's fucked up is the albums are actually pretty cool. But they find every movie of his and then they parody it. But like, there's a song called "Give These People A.R." You know, like what he says at the end of Total Recall. The singer actually got in trouble because he tried to hire a hitman to kill his wife, and he's from a Christian metal band as well. So
Oh my god!
Funny. But Austrian Death Machine, it's a really good.
That's
band
pretty awesome. They're like kindergarten.
But Michael Ironside is in this,
album.
and yeah, he should have a concept album about him trying to hire a guy to kill his wife in front of Planet Fitness.
Right.
But anyway. Yeah, Michael Ironside is this. I guess he's somebody telling. He looks like an actor that they gave him like $5,000 and a bunch of Dunkin' Donuts, and they said, "Can you just say these like important lines?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure."
Right.
And he's just doing that. And then there's the part that fucks it up for me. I mean, it looks pretty cool. It's interesting. You know, there's people attacking aliens, and the aliens obviously taking them back. There's gray aliens in it.
Okay.
You actually see like a gray alien. If you know, that's the
typical
prototypical kind of skinny.
They're very big when I was in like high school for some reason.
Yeah, nowadays they're trying to make them like giant hulking space monsters because that's what people play with online and stuff. Anyway, so at the end of this, they fuck up the total feeling of the trailer because you hear a voiceover go, you don't have to go to space to get probed, which makes me think somewhere in the film he's making like a rape joke.
Right.
But the actual final shot was a POV of a probe. And it's slowly going towards a man's buttocks and exposed buttocks. I'm not kidding you. That's what the final shot is.
That's kind of
And then
gross.
they show they show the guy's face.
You know, the whole idea is scary, but funny at the
They
same
show
time.
the guy's face. They show the guy's face from the front. And he's like, oh, and then it just cuts to black. And I was like, how could you? The trailer looked actually decent until that final shot, where it's just like, oh god, they're gonna make a whole big deal about a guy getting stuck up the ass with something.
Right.
Very good. I'm sure it'll play well in some places better than others.
Whatever.
All right, Jessabelle. Jessabelle is directed by Kevin Greutert. It's about a girl returns to her childhood home after a car accident and encounters an evil spirit that doesn't want her to leave.
Wow, it sounds exactly like Insidious 3.
Where this movie is produced by the same guys that did Insidious, Sinister, Paranormal Activity, and it looks exactly like Sinister, Insidious, and Paranormal
Yeah,
Activity.
it sounds like the exact plot of Insidious 3.
Did you watch the trailer for this one?
No, I didn't, but the girl, what it's saying in this thing...
This one...
About a car accident and shit? That's exactly...
Yeah, this girl's in an accident with her boyfriend. A truck, a semi, I guess, T-bones them, and she ends up in a wheelchair.
Right,
I don't know
love
for how long.
T-boning
I don't know
girls.
whether her legs are... What's that?
Nothing.
I don't know whether she's paralyzed for life or her legs are fucked up. It kind of seems like she's moving around her arms, so maybe her legs are just fucked up.
Okay.
She's moved in with her dad down south, and then her father proceeds to show her... I mean, he lets her into a room that was closed off by a giant bureau, and she finds videotapes of her mother giving her, I guess, post-mortem tarot card readings. And then craziness ensues with ghosts and her being haunted. There's a film that came out a while back. It's like, because this movie deals a lot with hoodoo and voodoo.
Yeah.
Because it's in the South. And if anybody's familiar with American Horror Story Coven, like, you know, that kind of deal. Like, if you're like in New Orleans, I assume maybe it's in New Orleans. New Orleans. So funny enough, there's a lot of those movies that they don't show like exposed breasts for beads. They just show like ghosts and black people killing chickens for some reason.
Right.
But this reminds me highly of this movie that came out a while back called The Skeleton Key.
Oh.
It's similar premise.
Was it a
of
good
this
movie?
girl I thought it was decent for what it was. It was kind of like those horror movies that came out at a time. You know what I mean? That came out. The trailer's really good for it.
Do you think this one's going to be a good movie?
Nah, I mean, it was okay, but it reminded me too much of The Skeleton Key. It's basically a white girl in distress, and then she has to, like, then you see like a group of like I guess voodoo people, like all these black people trying to kill her or something. It's all the same.
It's every
bullshit.
white girl's
like,
nightmare.
Oh yeah, I guess so. Depending on the white girl, but yeah, it was like that. So she's in a wheelchair, so I guess it has that kind of thing to it. The next up is the Babadook.
Ooh, this one looks
or the
awesome.
Babadook. Yes, it looks pretty cool. It also just came out. It came out before.
I thought it was supposed to come out on the 28th. It said, right?
It's supposed to come out on November 28th. It's directed by Jennifer Kent. And what's it about? No horror movie in recent memory has gotten as much buzz and anticipation as the Babadook. This kind of reminds me of the trailer for Mama. You know that movie that...
Yeah.
Who's that big guy that directs? Guillermo del Toro. He produced that Spanish horror film. He made one of his, I guess, guys that he saw a short film online, Mama. You could look it up online. It's Mama. And they made a longer version. It kind of became a minor hit. And... this one, the Babadook, kind of has the same feeling to it, where it looks like there's a lot of good artistic value that went into the making of it.
It looks like I don't know. It reminds me kind of like quality of Exorcist horror or something. Like,
oh, really?
Like actual, not necessarily the plot at all, but just the acting and the like way it paces and stuff, and like it's actually like real scary shit happening, not like somebody's face CGIing into a monster for like 2 seconds as a shock scare.
You mean the eyes rolling into the back of the head after they play a Parker Brothers game?
Yeah.
But this, to me, this feels more of like a highly super stylized film like Del Toro would work on. It looks like, I don't think he had anything to do with this one, but I even like the little children's book that they have that he's reading, and it's like stylized pretty cool. It looks like kind of Tim Burton-ish kind of art. So this kid, I guess, is reading a children's book with his mom. I think it's probably going to go that whole route where either the mother's actually just crazy,
right,
and then she's going to try to kill the kid, and then you know how they. That's
I don't know. I have a good feeling about this one. Like,
it looks good.
If this could match like Antichrist, like in that level of darkness, that would be awesome. It seems like it's going to be really artsy fartsy,
like unsettling dark. Yeah, I get what you're saying. But you know, films, they'll never kill the kids in these fucking in movies nowadays, unless it's like really.
They did an Antichrist.
It's a strain, I guess. Huh?
They did an Antichrist.
That's true.
First scene.
That was
Yeah, I'm not giving anything away. It happens like immediately.
The more shocking part was the penis in the vagina. That's what I was like more shocked about.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's now a pyramid. I saw the trailer a while back.
Pure Mind.
Oh, directed by Gregory Lavessieur. I was actually surprised. I thought Alexander Ajas had to do something with this, but it's same production team, I guess, that worked on it. So I guess I'm glad Alexander Ajas had something better to do.
Looks kind of
Did you see the trailer for this one? The pyramid?
Yeah, it looks a little stupid. It doesn't look like a horror movie, first of all, but it looks a little boring. I don't know.
It kind of looks like the side adventures of the Mummy films.
Right.
Like if a group of people went to check on... I guess they didn't know about this pyramid. What did they say about it? They said, it's a pyramid with 3 sides. And I'm such an idiot. I was like, don't pyramids always have 3 sides? There's pyramids with 4 sides to it?
They excavated this... Yeah, no, it's 4 sides as far as I know. They excavated, a new pyramid that they... Well, not new, but, they had never found it before. And, there's a curse in it, like, left for people who find it. Or something, like, I don't know. It seems kind of silly. I don't know.
Yeah, it seems kind of general with a group of people, and I guess their leader going down inside this 3-sided pyramid, I guess, which is such a rarity, and then they're obviously all being attacked by Anubis, who is like, if you've seen like any old school, if you've even seen the Mummy films with Brendan Fraser,
actually have.
He's like that dog-faced guy.
Oh, Cerebus?
No, it's Anubis. Cerebus is like Greek. That's the 3-headed dog.
Yeah.
Anubis is like a shepherd for death or something like that. I might.
I know what you're talking about. But, yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, so if you've seen the Mummy, it's the dog-headed guys. But there's like, it's very much like a maybe R-rated version of Indiana Jones traps. Just imagine the whole film being like, I guess...
Maybe it's like Cube in a pyramid.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Just like that. And it's just going to be... Since it's a French guy, I guess, directing it, it might be a little bit, hardcore. So I'm fine with that.
Yeah. No, if it's good, it's good. But I'll watch it, actually, because it could be good. I will not watch the Ouija board one.
Yeah, this I'd rather watch. But they're very, like, in the trailer, they don't give a shit. They actually show characters die in the trailer, so they're like, I think it stars that guy from American Horror Story, the guy that plays the butler, but I could be wrong.
Oh, okay.
The
creepy butler with his tongue cut out.
Yeah, that guy's really awesome.
What's his
He's
name, like
really
Jenkins or something? I don't even remember.
It was like, our show's gonna find out. That's what he says. Anyway, next we move on to Amityville: The Awakening. Whoa, 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 whoa!
You know what's funny is I grew up like fucking 15 minutes from Amityville, and you lived like really close to it also, actually.
Yeah, I lived in Long Island for a while when I was in college, and I went with a couple of friends, and we drove up to that area. I guess it's Amityville. I was going to say, what's the area called? And we actually drove up to the back of the house, and we were like, yeah, that's Amityville. And I was like, that's it? And I was like, but I kind of got a creepy feeling, but that was more just...
that's just your own brain. Why don't they rip places like this down?
Because nothing probably really happened. The guy probably killed people, but he didn't see any fucking green pigs or anything.
No, sure, but even in like Nightmare on Elm Street, they, I think it's like the fifth one, the one that has Rosie O'Donnell in it, like that.
Oh, you mean in the movies? Oh, in the movies.
Yeah, no, in the movies.
I thought you meant in real life.
No, but like even in real life, if there's repeatedly over like 100 years, people keep having horrible things happen in the same place. Why would you?
I bet you
live
there's probably a deleted scene of a landowner with a very ethnic background rubbing his hands together with a giant schnoz.
Right.
It's like a really racist character.
Asshole.
And he's like, I gotta make money, and that's my Italian voice. So this Amityville: The Awakening looks just like Insidious. Wow, whoop-de-doo. It looks just like... The Conjuring. Which one does it look like Insidious?
It looks worse, actually, because the quality...
Yeah, no, it looks bad. No, this looks worse. Like, I'd rather watch Insidious again, which is I didn't have any problem with
Insidious. Insidious was, like, cool.
Decent.
The second one I didn't see, but I heard it was terrible. The third one
until they had that
dumb.
demon making toys in his house. That's the part that bothered me. But anyway,
that was cool.
This film... He was making like, he was making the Ouija board so they could cross-cut the other
Right. They're all connected somehow.
So I guess there's a family. There's a girl named Bella Thorne, who's a young actress from. It's sad that I know this, but she's like either on Nickelodeon, I think, and I guess there's perverts online that always put her photos up because they can't wait till she's 18 years old.
Right.
Which is fine, I guess. Good for you guys. But she stars in this film, and I guess her brother's in a comatose state. He looks like a young Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Not the Mel Brooks version. He just looks like a young Frankenstein because he's all fucked up. And he's with Jennifer Jason Leigh is their mother, who I feel bad for her because I think she was a legitimate actress at a time, and now she has to be in Amityville. Maybe she's trying to be like Ethan Hawke or something. And they also have a little sister. This kid is stuck in his bed, and guess what? All the paranormal shit happens. So I guess these people must have thought. I guess it is the same producers of Insidious and all those films, so they must be like, okay, let's keep this.
They all blur together.
Similar thing.
Like Insidious 3 trailer actually was a little creepy at one point. Like it did give me a little creep, and I probably would see it maybe. But this just looks.
But this looks pretty bad. It looks really generic. I mean, it's all the same thing where. I'm sure there'll be a long sequence where it's quiet and the girl's walking around the house, and then she goes up to see her brother in the bed, and then
the brother is like
scary happens.
Sitting up or something,
Yeah, I wonder how much he got paid because he didn't talk that much. There's also the guy from RoboCop in it, the bad guy, or Red from that '70s show where he swallows a whole bunch of flies in the trailer.
Oh, okay.
That's it. I don't know. Maybe he becomes evil and tries to kill people. I don't know if that happened to the father in the first one. I like how they say inspired by real events. Meanwhile, this shit didn't happen. They're just saying it's inspired by the first.
It's like
Ronald DeFeo.
1% inspired by real events.
You know what happened in this movie for real? Somebody opened up a door in Amityville. That's it. And that's what they said. This is inspired by that event. It's bullshit.
You know what? I went to Amityville once and watched a fireworks show. I can claim that I have experienced this and write a movie about it.
Did you see green pigs with red eyes in the sky?
Some of the fireworks did resemble green pigs, yes.
It was like, get out. Anyway. Directed by Frank Calhoun, and if you don't know, you know not to trust the director when his name is Frank and it's spelled Franck.
I think he's like, isn't that like German or something?
That's almost, well, I guess so. He's like, no, he's French money. He's literally a French money walking around directing movies and shit.
No, they went to the Euros, so he's obsolete now.
That's almost like, did you ever hear the story about the black kid? His name was Anthony, but they spelled it Anfreni. Anfrenee, like in the 90s. That's so fucking stupid. Alright, next up. Paranormal Activity 5, The Ghost Dimension.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Directed by
don't
Gregory Plotkin. What's it about? As usual with Paranormal Activity series, we know okay, so they don't know anything about it. The fourth one, they almost called it a spin-off. Oh yeah, I guess there already are 5 Paranormal Activity movies.
Yeah.
So they're not counting the marked ones.
I saw the first one. I don't fucking have any desire.
You and I saw the first one, didn't we? Or
I think
yeah, we saw it together. Remember?
Yeah.
We saw it with Joey, and then we had that couple behind us going, "Oh man, she going down the staircase. Oh man, she floating in the air. Oh man, look at that." And I'm like, "Shut the fuck up!" I could see the movie. I might as well have just turned around and looked at them and tell me the movie.
They should have made subtitles like with their dialogue over it,
with their jargon. So this one, it's going to be the same shit. I don't know why they didn't count the fourth one. I guess the fourth one's so bad. Not the fourth one.
He implies that the fourth one is bad.
No, the marked one is actually a fifth one, and they don't count it as part of this, even though I think that Katie girl was in it. So
what do you mean marked? What do you mean by marked one?
Didn't you see that movie called The Marked Ones Paranormal Activity? The trailers for it. It was like a Mexican kid who was haunted and he had superpowers.
No.
It was part of the Paranormal Activity franchise, but they just kind of put it on the side. They made a Paranormal Activity specifically for Latino audience.
Oh, really?
It's called The Marked Ones. The poster is pretty iconic. It's a pretty awesome poster of it's like a Mary Magdalene statue, but it has a skull face instead.
Right.
So that's I guess you didn't give a shit. Nobody gave a shit. Nobody saw it. That's why they didn't give a fucking.
It's not my target audience, man. Sorry.
There you go. Okay, so now we move on to Insidious Chapter 3. I didn't see Part 2. It's directed by Lee Whannell, who's the actor. The writer / bad actor.
I have a feeling you don't need to have seen the second one to see this.
Yeah, because I think it's a prequel. Because I don't know. I saw Part 1. I know the old lady died in Part 1. She's in Part 2 again, and then she's in this one. But knowing that she's in Part 3, which is the prequel, I guess, this takes place ahead of time. I don't know what time Part 2 happens.
Right.
And the actor, Patrick, I forget his name, Patrick something, the guy who's the main actor.
The guy that's also in The Conjuring, right?
Yeah, he was like, I don't want to really do any more horror films because I don't want to get pegged in to horror films.
Yeah, you could go stick to being the cat guy in Watchmen.
Yeah, pretty much. What's it about? From looking at the cast, which is mainly new characters, the story seems to be moving in a new direction.
Okay. it looks okay. I mean, it's the same exact idea. It has a girl
in a wheelchair too, right? It has a girl with a broken leg or something.
Yeah,
so
she broke her leg in a car accident.
Just like that other movie we just mentioned, Jessabelle. So they have that thing where a girl's in trouble, and it makes it more heightened where you can't run away as fast as possible. Because God forbid they have smart characters. Now you have to literally have them maimed or hurt, just like Chucky. Anyway, okay, so they're remaking Poltergeist as well, so I don't know anything about it. It's directed by Gil Keenan. You don't think it's going to be good?
No, I don't think it's going to be good. I don't. You know why? Because I've seen enough of these horrible, horrible remakes to know that it's not going to be good.
Toby Hooper's probably like, can I direct it, please? And they're like, no, please. Please. And then
RoboCop, Total Recall,
I saw some internet, there was this video game internet guy that he says, yeah, the new RoboCop was better than the old one. And I was like, what? I didn't even watch the new one. I was like,
I feel like anybody that would ever make a statement like Total Recall remake is better than the old one deserves to be like.
I meant RoboCop. That might be just as bad as whatever you just said about Total Recall, but he said that about RoboCop. I don't know about Total Recall. Total Recall, you could tell is a dumb movie. But it did have what's her name, that English girl with her ass hanging out.
I don't care. She's no Sharon Stone. Is it Sharon Stone in the first one? I believe it is.
Yeah, it was. Consider these the wars. Anyway.
Nah, that's a great movie.
Sinister 2.
Whatever.
Sinister 2 comes out August 21st, 2015, directed by Ciarán Foy. Oofa, what a name. What's it about? Since it's not a prequel, we don't know the majority of the... Okay, so the first one was good because it had Ethan Hawke. I thought it was genuinely chilling. I used generally twice instead of genuinely. What an asshole. Sinister 1 was good.
Yeah,
I liked it. Ethan Hawke was good. I liked how chilling. Honestly, I don't get scared by children, and the children, they didn't scare me in Sinister 1. I thought that was the worst part of the film. With
I did
putting
too,
their
actually.
finger in front of their mouth. Like, it's like a kid going, shh, like, that's scary. Like, people are actually scared of children. Like, it's not scary. Oh, speaking of this, You know the movie Akira, the animated film, the
Yeah.
Japanese one.
Yeah.
Did you ever see it, or you know of it, right?
I seen bits and pieces of it years ago.
Okay,
I
so
don't
in that film, Akira, like the movie's called Akira, but basically Akira doesn't come out until the last 5 minutes of the film. He's kind of like the perfect organism. He has psychic powers, and he's in the body of like a 10-year-old kid, right?
Okay.
And then he doesn't do anything. He's kind of like a Deus Ex Machina kind of thing, where he takes care of everything at the end of the film. Mm-hmm. And then they were supposed to remake the American version where it was supposed to be in New York. Like instead of Neo Tokyo, it's Neo Manhattan. And obviously they turned the main characters from Japanese to white guys. And then they made Akira the main bad character in the film. And this is how the American remakes work out. In the script, they didn't make this film yet. They're trying to remake it. But anyway, in that version, they had Akira walking around as a little kid, and he's like whistling Farajaka. Mm-hmm. So he's basically, I guess, Damien. He's basically Damien the Omen. So that's what they think sells, is like children being evil. Right. I can see it from maybe, what was that movie about the little girl who's adopted and she kills people that she's in the
one that was of? Actually a midget orphan or something?
Yeah, orphan. Like you see, I can see that. Like if it's actually an adult acting as a child, but like who's really afraid of children? Well, I do live in New York City, so there's some pretty scary kids around here.
Pedophobias.
Okay. Is that real?
You know what? It would not surprise me. There are people who are scared of like labels on fruit and stuff. You know, like those stickers.
That sounds like it's people scared of pedophiles, which I think that's for children, so they might be pedophiles. So we'll figure that out. There's a Friday the 13th. I don't know if it's a sequel. Yeah, I don't understand, because the last Friday the 13th
does it matter if it's
remake,
a sequel? It's not the type of movie that it matters, really.
I guess so, but I know that they were aiming to make this one a found footage one with Jason.
Really?
Like it's really that down the toilet that they have to listen. Nothing will be worse than that one where he goes to outer space. I don't care what anybody says. Like, oh, it's funny, man. It's tongue in cheek. I'm like, no. That movie fucking sucked balls. Like, it's a movie where it was like that movie would have worked if it was Leprechaun. If they called it Leprechaun 2 in space again, that was fine.
Leprechaun in space is brilliant.
What happened?
No, Leprechaun in space is brilliant.
Yeah. So in that Friday, Jason X, when he's in outer space, there's a guy Jason throws on top of a giant a screw, whatever the fuck is, like a gear, and then the guy walks up to him and they're asking him what happened to him. He goes, "Oh, he's screwed." Like, it's that kind of humor. It's like really, it's horrible. The only funny part is that Jason walks into a hologram, and there's like two naked girls like in a camping site, and then they're like, "Oh, do you want to have unprotected sex with us and drink beers and get high?" And like, it's supposed to be funny, and then it cuts to him just with the girls inside of their sleeping bags, and he's just hitting them against a tree like a baseball.
Right.
Like, that's funny, because it's like it's calling back to a kill from an original one that was actually more serious. But this one where it's supposed to be like POV, I don't know. Like, what the fuck is the point? We know who Jason is. Like, they're gonna spend an hour of not seeing Jason, and then he comes out at the end. Like, what's the point of the POV with Jason? You know what Jason is, you know?
I don't know.
Because, and I don't understand, the last Jason film that came out it was like Michael Bay produced, where he's running after people instead of just, stumbling along.
You're gonna try to
like,
justify
it made a lot
Michael
of money.
Bay?
Well, no, I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying that it made money for them enough to make a sequel, but they just didn't do a sequel.
I mean, the people that created the series are like fucking billionaires or something. Like, they have to. There's no excuse. There's no excuse.
Jason could literally have a gold-plated mask in the next movie, and nobody would give a fuck.
Right. They could build a golden android version of him. The next one, I'm actually quite excited about.
Yes, very good. 31, directed by Rob. I was going to say Rob Bottin. That's the special effects guy. Rob Zombie.
Yeah.
I like Rob Zombie. I'm not ashamed of saying that I enjoy Rob Zombie's horror films. You didn't like the last one, but I really enjoyed The Lords of Salem.
I didn't not enjoy it. It just wasn't the same quality.
Right. I thought visually it's one of the best movies I'd seen. Lords of Salem.
This one apparently has Halloween rules. I'm reading right here, which sounds amazing because fucking God, they're so good. Okay.
I think this was kickstarted actually. So he's so poor. Rob Zombie is so poor that he got people to give him money to make
right.
Oh my God. Those people better get a fucking free version of the movie or something. Because listen, Rob Zombie has money. He's had money since he's been in White Zombie. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
One of the funny stories.
Like
one of the funny stories I heard is that Rob Zombie tried to get a skate park closed down because they're making too much noise next to his house. Can you imagine this guy who makes music about monsters and shit is mad about skateboarding children? What an asshole.
Yeah, right.
He's like, he was like that, yelling at them. But the premise of this, and I've seen some, there's that pretty cool poster of like a clown's face, like a mask or something like that. From what I've read, is that it's about, like, they don't say on this page what it's about, but it's basically these people that are put inside of like well, how can I say it? Like, it's like almost like Hunger Games or something, but they're locked in like this giant insane asylum or some kind. I don't know if it's insane asylum, but the section where all these serial killers are hunting them down, and they have to. It's like a game show or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So I'm already in. I'm sure it's gonna be pretty cool. I know one of the promo arts was like a midget with a giant, or excuse me, a height. I don't know what's the correct term for them? A height challenged person.
Yes.
Like with a bat trying to attack a lady or something. It looked pretty cool though. Like a pretty cool comic book art.
I'm gonna try not to know too much about it. When it comes out, I'm gonna fucking go insane and watch it like 3 times.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a really good. He knows what he's doing visually, and I think he'll take care of what he needs to take care of with a horror film. He knows the pacing. I think it's going to be on the level of at least
they're making
Devil's Rejects or something.
They're making another Day of the Dead remake, another one.
Oh God, what's that? Like four versions of the one film? Then
yeah.
Who owns the rights to that movie? What did fucking George Romero sell that shit for? Like Asian hookers or something?
Yeah, right.
Jesus Christ.
They're like, people just go up to him like, I'll suck your dick if you let me make a remake.
And he goes, oh, yeah. And he pulls his ponytail.
He comes out maggots because he's like
oh, God.
a zombie.
All right, so Resident Evil. No need to talk about that one. Okay. Crimson Peak. Directed by Guillermo del Toro. That is a film that was going through a lot of things. It's supposed. What's it about? Not as much known at the moment, other than it's a ghost story about a woman who suspects her husband isn't who he claims to be. So that film actually, from what I remember, it was supposed to star Benedict Cumberbatch. You know, the guy who's going to be Doctor Strange. Supposedly, I keep calling him the Doctor Who, but he's Sherlock.
Right. I've never seen him act, but I go on these like writing forums, and there's a lot of nerdy people who talk about him a lot. So.
Yeah, a lot of people love Sherlock. I think a lot of people love Sherlock because they want him to bugger Martin Freeman, who is what's his name from?
Oh yeah, he's Arthur from Hitchhiker's
like people
Guide
are
and
obsessed.
Also The Hobbit.
People are really obsessed with slash fiction of their favorite shows. That's the thing. Like, I'm sure somebody's written about Firefly with the captain fucking every guy on the stage. It's just, and it's mostly women that are like, they want to see 2 guys fucking each other. Like,
good for them.
I guess good for them.
Maybe
whatever.
if they keep pushing, they'll actually get a movie like that released.
Yeah, it'll just be like the captain on Firefly going, all right, you know what? And he just bends over, and then every guy just takes their turn, and just like that's it. And it's just. The ending is just a giant bukkake on the screen. But that's what But anyway, it was supposed to be Benedict Cumberbatch, and then he got replaced by, I guess, somebody who's even hotter, who is Loki from the Avengers.
Yeah, he is a good-looking guy.
Tom something, I don't know his name, whatever. But he's pretty cool dude. That guy's a pretty awesome.
Well, if he's going to be in this, then it's probably a pretty decent movie.
Yeah, you're gonna need a mop to come into the theater with the girls just basically wetting their pants.
I wouldn't need a mop. I would use my tongue.
Anyway, so how erotic! But yeah, it's supposed to be like an erotic ghost story kind of thing. But Guillermo del Toro knows what he's doing. He's gonna make an interesting looking film. You either really like his work or you don't. So I kind of run hot or cold, but I can appreciate what he does with his movies.
We'll see.
Next up, holy shit, Day of the Dead. You're right.
Yeah. I mean, I have no hope for this movie to be good. I'll see it, though, because there's no fucking way that it's as bad as, like, episode 4 that we did of the Day of the Dead, that first one, where they all, like, oh my god, where they're, like, climbing on ceilings and shit like that.
Directed by Mark Tonderai. What's it about? This will be another remake of George A. Romero's original film, but there's no possibility it could be as bad as the 2008 remake with Dennis Hopper. I don't know what this guy saw, because Dennis Hopper was not in a remake of Dawn of the Dead. He was in Land of the Dead. So
no, Day of the Dead we're talking about right now. And
Day of the
Day
of the Dead. Yeah, but he wasn't in Day of the Dead either. He was in Land of the Dead, which is just as boring. Yeah, so
he was also Bowser in the Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah, that was pretty good. And he's also now dead. So there you go. I don't know. I mean,
so maybe he'll make an appearance as a zombie.
Jesus Christ. But better him than John Leguizamo, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, that's just a list of 18 horror films that are coming out. And I'm into the Babadook. I'm fine with that. I hope horror really makes itself somewhat viable again. It is always good, but
31 and Babadook look awesome.
Right, yeah, I think those are the ones that I'm going to go for too. But it seems like everything now, it's always what the popular type of film it is. So, and they enjoyed Insidious and The Conjuring, and obviously, whatchamacallit, the other one,
Sinister.
Sinister.
Yeah.
So a lot of films are going to look like that film. And that's why they have a Paranormal Activity number 25. Ghosts have come back, and that's why I bet you that's what they're going to do with the remake of Poltergeist. So you'll see. But other than that, what do you think? There's any hope for horror so far?
Not really. No, like there's going to be like one or two
more
things
bad movies
per
for us
year.
to review.
More bad movies to review, or like even worse, like lukewarm movies. Like I hate doing those. And, like 2 or 3 really good movies, probably, and that's about it.
Yeah, I think, I guess the only best bets would have to be Babadook and 31. Any other horror films you're looking forward to, or one that looks the worst out of that list?
The one that looks the
Amityville
worst.
looks pretty bad.
Yeah, but I'm not even gonna. It's not bad enough to
Amityville
see.
only looks bad because it looks like it's not trying, and Ouija just looks just as generic as fuck. So.
It's like these movies don't seem bad enough to be good, like that level of bad.
Yeah.
So it's even worse because, like, I would see a movie that looks really bad, but not a movie that looks just stupid. Whatever.
Yep, so thanks to Rob Fee for writing that article and doing all the hard work for us. And with that, Danny, what's the final word?
The Vicious Brothers.
The Horror Deconstruction.